Hey everyone, it's the Chinnist. Today is December 13th, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 17 with 15 different titles. So starting off with DC, we have The Flash. Love this title. This title's been good ever since Flash Rebirth, all the way, throughout the entire ongoing series, in my opinion. A lot of good character development of Barry Allen, as well as, a lot of introduction of new rogue gallery. So this is, going to introduce one more at the end of, someone who's going to potentially join the rogues here. But this kind of starts off back in Iron Heights. There is a murder of and I forgot what his name was, but apparently he was a rogue for a short amount of time. But what was his name? Not Earthquake. Anyways, yeah, so good stuff. Very good build up here, in my opinion, so far. So not too much action, but good storyline development that's going to be occurring here in this story arc. So yeah, man, good stuff. The Flash. All right, next up we have Justice League of America. This is actually my very last issue I'm going to be picking up, as a floppy. I'm going to go on to trade after this issue number 20. This concludes his very last story arc. I forgot what this main villain was, but I was not a fan of this story arc here, to tell you the truth. Ever since they went into the microverse, man, this has been kind of stale in my opinion. So again, I'm going to go over to trade at this point in time and get away from the floppies. So yeah, Justice League of America, I would not suggest picking up this story arc here, in my opinion. So yeah. Alright, next up, a title that I would recommend, New Superman. So man, good stuff. Kanan Kong, who is the Chinese version of Superman over there. So from the get-go, once they introduced the Justice League of China, I really felt, although Kanan is one of the main characters here, I really felt it was really about the Justice League and of China. And recently, looking at this last preview, I saw that they're actually going to be changing this title to New Superman and the Chinese Justice League, I believe is what that title was. So yeah, man, I think that's more fitting in my opinion, because it was really, based around Justice League. But yeah, man, so this, speaking on that team note, this is really so great team action here, but this is really an issue that kind of concludes this the story arc here, and Kanan kind of learns a little bit more about himself. So he kind of learns a little bit more about his powers, what his powers, why they are, why he controls them the way he does, and overall what balance truly is. So yeah, man, cool character development that happens here in this issue. Highly suggest, if you're looking for like an alternate reality Superman or Superboy, man, this really fits it well, in my opinion. So yeah, New Superman. Okay, last up from DC, just a cover pickup here. This is the Art Germ cover B of issue number 16. Man, spectacular. So yeah, Art Germ, and this went straight to the bag and board. I am not reading Supergirl at this point in time. Okay, next up, Star Wars, and I was able to pick up, I have been passing up on the 40-year anniversary covers that they have. Every now and again, there is one that kind of interests me. Of course, the ones that interested me, they never had. So yeah, I saw this trench run. I thought the trench run looked pretty good, in my opinion. So yeah, picked up that cover. So yeah, Star Wars. So anyone, in my opinion, who is a Star Wars fan, all these storylines, they're all canon that are coming out of the Marvel Comics at this point in time. So if you want to expand that Star Wars universe, you should really be picking up these issues here, in my opinion. So yeah, so this kind of goes back, they're really tying in that Kyber crystal, as far as, that ultimate power source, how the Kyber crystals came to be, how the Jedi started using them. They kind of changed how the lightsabers, so previously, Star Wars had it to where the light, the color of the crystal, of the Kyber crystal was known. You choose that color, and it kind of like, comes to you. Now they kind of changed the canon to where the Kyber crystals, I guess they're all clear, and once your energy kind of goes through it, it changes the color. So you change the color of the Kyber crystal, which creates the color of your lightsaber. So yeah, they kind of just changed that, and again, it's really in these ongoing Star Wars issues, so, Darth Vader and some of those others. So yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should really be picking these up, in my opinion. Okay, next up, one more. I was able to get another cool cover. This was the lenticular cover, paying homage to the previous one of the previous Weapon X covers in that series. That's actually I just recently got from another back issue series. But yeah, so yeah, pretty cool. I thought they Marvel did a pretty good job on this the second go around for the lenticulars. I guess to correct their mistake from that last go around. Man, what a debacle. So yeah, man, Weapon X, cool to have this cover. So, you know, as I said in the past, Weapon X is really like a, you know, punch them in the face, slice them up, you know, action type of title. Don't look for too much, you know, deep character development. But, yeah, man, pretty cool stuff here. They're going against this faction here. I forgot what this faction was called. The Irrelevance or something of that nature. I gotta see what that was. Now it's going to bother me. What are they called? They are called the Clandestine Organization. So yeah, so pretty cool action, you know, a lot of good fighting that occurs here in this this one issue. You find out this group, the Clandestine group, you know, uses this drug that kind of like elevates their fighting skills, you know, kind of, you know, almost puts them in a berserker type of mode. So yeah, with that, man, pretty cool fighting that goes along this issue. So yeah, if you're looking for something, you know, Wolverine based and, you know, really like a slice 'em up type of action title, here it is, Weapon X. Next up from Marvel, we have XMen Blue. So they reintroduce, you know, the previous X-Men 2099, you know, from the mid to late 90s, I guess the late 90s. That is actually when I started getting away from X-Men, when they kind of started like doing all these weird storylines, you know, alternate reality storylines. I really wasn't into that when I was younger, so I kind of started getting you know, getting a little bit tired of X-Men back when I was younger. That's kind of when I started quit collecting back in the day, to tell you the truth. So yeah, the only 2099 group that I was really, or title that I was really interested in was the Spider-Man 2099. I thought he was pretty cool. Anyways, I recall this group, you know, the X-Men 2099. I didn't really recall all their powers and everything, but yeah, this issue was pretty decent. Pretty good action that kind of went along here. You kind of see the time-displaced X-Men that you see here. You kind of see the repercussions of them leaving their previous timeline. It's kind of screwing up that previous world that they were in. So yeah, pretty cool. You know, I love anything, you know, time, alternate reality type of situations. So yeah, this X-Men Blue with the entire time-displaced team kind of fits right up my alley there. Okay, next up from Image, we have Maestros. So, you know, number one I thought was spectacular. Number two wasn't really that great, but I mean, I thought they really picked up here again in this number three. So pretty cool stuff. You know, this main character here, I forgot what his name is, but you kind of see, you know, at first I thought that he kind of was raised on Earth, you know, his entire life, and his father kind of came back and he found out that he was magical, but, you know, you really come to find out, no, he grew up on this magic world. I don't know when he went to Earth, you know, but he was kind of like always like a weird, you know, spoiled type of kid growing up his entire life. So it's cool, you know, he's trying to, you know, completely take over the reins of this magical world, you know, where his father left off, and you know, I just love this magic. So he has shown a couple times here, they have something kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, to where like when he gets all screwed up, they have like this magical pill, kind of like a sensu bean, that just totally, you know, repairs him. So I won't give away too much, but man, a couple times he was near death, and you know, you see here it's pretty gory, and he comes back, you know, from near death by taking this little magical bean, just like a sensu seed from Dragon Ball Z. So I thought that was pretty funny. So you'll be able to see the main hero, you know, in a lot of gruesome, you know, near-death experiences, which is, I think, is pretty cool, you know, for the future. Okay, next up, Port of Earth. So this is number two, still on the Image run here. Number one was pretty decent, in my opinion. So you find out that, you know, aliens exist. There's tons of different species that are out there that have known each other for a while. Earth became part of like a massive trade route type of passage, and most of these aliens also use water as fuel. So you find out that the aliens came to Earth, and as part of like a negotiation to try to use Earth as a port, they're going to offer their technology. And as you find out in this issue, the people who did like all that trading, all that negotiating, even on the alien side, was nothing but pure corporation, really looking for profit at the end of the day. So all the corporations that use the technology, they went on to profit here on Earth. The aliens, you find out that they were straight up like a Chevron type of company, just really using Earth as a resource. And, they didn't really care about the inhabitants. So this storyline kind of takes care of what do the inhabitants, experience against the aliens. And you see a couple murders kind of happen, and, how do the humans deal with that going forward. So yeah, pretty cool concept, pretty good storyline so far. I think this would read excellent in trade as well, but I think I will pick up the floppies at this point in time going forward. Okay, next up, Rumble. So this is volume 2. This was a previous series that came out, I think, like 2 years ago. I picked up the trade. I couldn't really remember. I read through the trade. I could not remember for the life of me, like, if I enjoyed it or, like, kind of what happened. So I picked up this volume 2, number 1, really just to have another number 1. But, as I read through it, I kind of remembered, that I really enjoyed the artwork, but the storyline was kind of, wasn't really there for me, in my opinion, on that first volume 1 trade that came out. So I haven't said it, but I did read throughout this entire stack. So I was able to kind of read through this one again, and decent. This is not a good jumping on point. If you did not read through the first volume 1 Rumble, you're going to be completely lost here in this volume number 2. But this picked up kind of where volume 1 left off, so if you enjoyed volume 1 of Rumble, you will enjoy this volume 2 that just came out. Okay, next up we have from Boom Studios, Grass Kings, written by Matt Kent. So I think this title is excellent. I really feel that this would read better for me in trade. So a lot of slower dialogue type of storylines. I really enjoy. I really enjoy other storylines. Of course, not superhero-based genre. So I do enjoy drama, but when it's slow month to month, it's kind of hard for me to kind of get through or kind of remember where that last piece kind of left off. So I'm going to switch over and trade on this one here. So this is the last issue I'm going to pick up. Great title. I just kind of feel it's going to be a little bit quicker for me to read it in trade. So yeah, Grass Kings. Okay, next up, this is from Aftershock. This is a new number 1, Monstro Machina. I guess this is the Italian pronunciation here. So this is all about Leonardo da Vinci. And, you find out, this guy is extremely arrogant, kind of funny, some of his dialogue that's out there. He has an apprentice. You see here, she does not always, listen to his command, at times. And he's also built a robot that's that kind of, he's like a, just kind of like a protector, guardian in a sense, kind of listens to him and, kind of does his bidding. So here you find out there's like a faction who's kind of like against him, trying to capture him. I thought that the storyline would be a little bit more, I thought I was going to enjoy this just a little bit more than what I actually read through. But to tell you the truth, I will not be picking up number 2 on. The artwork was very decent. I give this like a 4.25 out of 5. It's just a storyline. It just didn't have enough there to capture my attention, in my opinion. So yeah, Monstro Machina. Okay, next up, this one did capture my attention by Dark Horse. This is Giants. So this is all about kaiju who have come here on Earth. And these kaiju fight each other, all the time, and they basically drove the humans to the subterranean world. And this was a great two-page splasher to just kind of show off the artwork of the kaiju. So this all follows around these 2 younger kids, and they call each other brothers, but I don't think that they're blood related. I think that they kind of just lived and grew up on the streets their entire lives. This is kind of like a Japanese anime, big city, underground feel, to this here. So you have the 2 kids here, and they're trying to get into this gang that kind of controls this underworld, or one of the gangs that kind of controls this underworld. in order to do that, they're trying to prove themselves, and apparently there's a resource out there. They don't talk about it too much, and it's shown here, and I'm pretty sure that this is kaiju poo-poo that they're using here. They don't really talk about it too much, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So they use it as a resource somehow. It's like liquid gold, or solid gold, I guess in this case. But yeah, this one was intriguing enough for me to go ahead and subscribe to it, so I will be picking up a number 2. But I would like to see where this one goes. So I think this is like a 6-part miniseries, if I saw the preview, or if I recall the previews correctly. Okay, next up from Scout Comics, this is Smoketown. Pretty cool concept here. This is kind of like a Pulp Fiction type of anthology approach, to where there's kind of like different storylines, different characters that they introduce along the way. The timeline is not always linear, but all the storylines do intermingle at a point in time. So there's a couple murders that kind of go on here. This introduction, I forgot what this character's name, but apparently this guy is like completely crazy. So he sees like this dead person, like a dead friend, kind of like American Wolf in London. And so this dead friend kind of, here we go, he kind of, tells this guy he's kind of like always bothering him. So this guy's, completely like suicidal or homicidal. But you kind of see at the very end how he mixes into the overall storyline that the Smoketown is kind of set up. So this may be another one that's good in trade, but man, I thought the storyline was great from number 1 on, so I've been picking it up in the floppy format. So yeah, Smoketown. Okay, last up for you from Valiant, we have Bloodshot Salvation. So this was pretty cool, and so I have not read Bloodshot, very much at all. I've gotten into other Valiant titles, but Bloodshot was one I kind of stayed away from. I kind of felt like it was like a Deadpool, Wolverine kind of mix. But as I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the character, I was incorrect about that. So yeah, so this one kind of gets into this main character. I think his nickname is Daddy. I forgot what his other name, what he goes by, but you find out his childhood and why he is the way he is. Pretty screwed up. So he had a very, very abusive father, like stereotypical type of abusive father, drank, beat him all the time, locked him down in the basement. So, you kind of see why he is the way he is today, and his relationship to his brother, and his older brother apparently is over in the military now, and he controls him now. So yeah, pretty cool to get some back history on a character that I didn't really know. And again, I don't really know the Bloodshot universe, but this title so far has been pretty captive to me. So yeah, Bloodshot Salvation. So guys, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.